An Iranian MP has made a stunning claim about U.S. President Donald Trump's alleged offer before Oman talks. Mahmoud Nabavian claimed that Trump sent a message to Tehran, Iran, through an intermediary country, proposing a calculated exchange of fire. Trump allegedly said, "Let me strike 2 locations in Iran. You respond, and then it's over." But Nabavian said Iran outrightly rejected Trump's proposal. He said, "If you make even the slightest move, we will inflict 3,000 to 4,000 casualties." The claim lifts the lid on the shadow diplomacy and brinksmanship that defined U.S.-Iran tensions, where messages were passed quietly, threats were calculated, and war was discussed in numbers. The region is perpetually one miscalculation away from catastrophe.
To Trump, through one of the countries, he said, "Well, I was ready, I made preparations, and I must." He said, "Let me hit 1 or 2 sites in Iran, then you can respond." We said, "That's it, it's over. If you make a wrong move, we will certainly inflict 3,000 or 4,000 casualties on you."
Neither Washington nor Trump has responded to the claim. Amid the war rhetoric, Iran is standing its ground. Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi reiterated that Tehran's missile program is non-negotiable. However, Tehran is open to any serious diplomatic process that takes into account U.S.'s interests and legitimate concerns. Meanwhile, the U.S. is sending war signals, despite both nations indulging in nuclear talks. Just hours after the talks in Oman got over, President Trump's lead Iran negotiators, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, stepped onto a U.S. aircraft carrier, signaling a message that one misfire is enough to bring catastrophe in the region.
The USS Abraham Lincoln is no ordinary backdrop. As one of America's most powerful aircraft carriers, its presence in the Arabian Sea sends a signal that echoes far beyond the deck. This weekend, that signal became unmistakable. U.S. Central Command Chief Admiral Brad Cooper visited the carrier alongside President Trump's lead Iran negotiators, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. The visit comes at a critical moment, with diplomacy fragile and military pressure very real. Witkoff described the carrier and its strike group as keeping us safe and reinforcing President Trump's doctrine of peace through strength, a phrase that blends negotiation with unmistakable force. The timing is no accident. Just days earlier, U.S. and Iranian officials held talks in Oman. U.S. President Donald Trump described the talks as very good, confirming more discussions are planned next week. But the presence of a U.S. carrier suggests Washington may be preparing for multiple outcomes. Trump has repeatedly warned that force remains an option if Iran refuses to strike a deal. The deployment of the Abraham Lincoln and other warships underscores that warning. Diplomacy backed by firepower. Gulf Arab states fear that any military confrontation with Iran could spiral quickly, dragging the region into a wider conflict. Memories of last year's 12-day Israel-Iran war remain fresh. Iran, meanwhile, is urging calm. Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi says nuclear negotiations must happen without threats or tension, insisting talks will focus solely on the nuclear issue, nothing more. Adding another layer, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is set to meet President Trump in Washington this week, with Iran squarely at the top of the agenda. For now, the USS Abraham Lincoln stays on station. Diplomats talk, warships wait, and the region watches every move, knowing the balance between negotiation and confrontation has rarely felt this thin. A chilling warning has erupted from the highest levels of Iran's military command.
Tehran says any strike on Iranian soil will not be limited, controlled, or contained. It will spread, it will escalate, and it will ignite a chain reaction across the Middle East. As U.S. forces surge into the region, Iran is drawing a hard red line, signaling that the next move could shatter fragile balances, redraw security maps, and push the region toward a confrontation with consequences far beyond a single battlefield. The warning is clear. The stakes have never been higher. Iran's top military commander has issued one of the strongest warnings yet amid rising regional tensions. In a message marking Iran's Air Force Day, Chief of Staff Major General Abdul Rahim Musavi said any military action against the Islamic Republic would end in what he called absolute and strategic defeat for Iran's enemies. The language was blunt. Musavi warned that even a limited strike would not remain localized. Instead, he said it would expand into a broader regional conflict, spreading instability far beyond Iran's borders and dragging in multiple actors across the Middle East. The warning comes as U.S. forces surge into the region, deploying additional air and naval assets and openly signaling readiness for potential action. Iranian officials see those moves not as deterrence, but as preparation. Musavi emphasized that Iran's Army Air Force plays a central role in what Tehran calls active deterrence. He said the force has undergone continuous modernization and now stands at its highest level of operational readiness, capable of responding rapidly to any threat or miscalculation. According to Iran's military leadership, that readiness is not symbolic. Musavi stressed that Iran's response would be decisive and coordinated across all branches of the armed forces, designed to impose what he described as heavy and irreparable costs on both attackers and their supporters. The warning also references recent history. Iranian officials point to what they describe as a 12-day Israeli-American confrontation earlier this year, arguing it reshaped their defensive calculations and reinforced the need for heightened readiness across the military. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has echoed similar warnings in recent days, saying any U.S.-initiated war would quickly spiral into a region-wide confrontation, one Washington would not be able to control.
This gentleman keeps claiming that we have brought warships to the region and done this or that. I think you shouldn't scare the Iranian nation with such things, as it won't be affected by such remarks. It doesn't fear rightful confrontation. We are not the instigators, and we do not seek to attack any country. But the Iranian nation will deliver a firm blow to anyone who attacks or harasses it. The Americans must be aware that if they wage a war this time, it will be a regional war.